This time I came to a commercial facility called Expo City in Suita City, Osaka Prefecture. It's empty. Although I introduced many commercial facilities, this one is empty. On the contrary, it's crowded with many people both on weekdays and weekends. I came here because Expo City is opening. Previously, there was an amusement park called Expo Land. Expo Land had many accidents, including fatal ones, which caused a sharp decline in visitors, and eventually it went bankrupt and closed down. In this video, I'll cover everything from the opening and closing of Expo Land to the opening of Expo City. On Omatsu's Anywhere Exploration team, we will continue to bring you many more videos. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel. I mentioned Expo City earlier, but let's begin at Senrichuo Station on the Kita Osaka Kyuko line. Next, we'll take the Osaka monorail to Banpaku Kinen Koen Station, just 2 stops away. The Kita Osaka Kyuko line connects directly to Osaka Metro Midosuji line, allowing access from downtown areas like Tennoji, Namba, and Umeda without transfers. Senrichuo was the terminal station, but after the line extension, it's now an intermediate station. This station has a unique atmosphere at ground level. Senchumaru, with its Showa-era atmosphere, opened in 1970. Next, the Senri ruins. The Celsi building remains abandoned. However, since there are large-scale redevelopment plans, if you're interested, please go check it out while you still can. Still, it was far too cold that day. This was filmed the day news reported a major cold wave was coming. I've just arrived at Senrichuo Station on the Osaka monorail. Let's go to Banpaku Kinen Koen Station. As the name suggests, this is where the Osaka Expo took place in 1970s. The station opened in 1990, so it was established after the Expo had ended. It was too crowded to film the platform or inside the train. Sorry. I underestimated the Osaka monorail. I've arrived at Banpaku Kinen Koen Station. It's really spacious here. I visited Expo Land. It looks spacious to accommodate large crowds. When you exit the ticket gate and turn left, you can see Expo City. Expo Land and Expo City are a bit confusing, but the amusement park is Expo Land and the commercial facility is Expo City. This is the Tower of the Sun. It's the 1970 Osaka Expo symbol. After the Expo ended, it was preserved on the original site and now symbolizes the Memorial Park. I didn't go to this park this time, but it's really huge and you can enjoy it for a whole day. Expo Land was the amusement zone of the Osaka Expo. After the Expo ended, it was planned to be dismantled, but when it was decided that the Expo site would be developed into a memorial park, many people began to call for the amusement park to remain. So it continued to operate as it was. I'm on my way to Expo City after leaving the ticket gate, and it's snowing. It's rare for it to snow in Osaka, so this is an unusual sight. The round building on your right has stood here since Expo Land operated. It's now a convenience store, but was once the Expo Commemorative Park Information Center. Is that building from the time of the Expo? If anyone knows, please let me know. The huge Ferris wheel you see in front is named Osaka Wheel, and it's actually the tallest in Japan, 123 meters. It's become a symbolic landmark of Expo City. I'm afraid of heights, so I couldn't ride it. This Ferris wheel is amazing. It's the world's first with a center axle structure. If you keep going straight like this, you'll reach Expo City. When Expo Land was open, there used to be a central gate. I'll purposely take the stairs on the right for now. These stairs are tough to climb, but they're also a remnant from when Expo Land was open. The stairs used to be narrower, but they were widened during the renovation. There's a stadium for the soccer team Gamba Osaka further in, and a lot of people use these stairs when there's a match. Until about 10 years ago, there used to be a lot of poles standing on the grassy area on the right. At the Expo, flags from 3 countries were displayed here. Despite the harsh snow, I climbed the stairs. It hasn't changed much since the Expo land days. The same scenery spreads out before me. This bench is also a remnant from those days. The faded look adds a nice touch. It seems that the south gate was across from here, and you could enter the park from here as well. This vacant lot is here because it's where the gate once stood. For those who drove, this seemed to be the closest park entrance. So, let's take a quick look back from what kind of amusement park Expo Land was, all the way to its closure. As I mentioned earlier, Expo Land was the amusement zone of the Osaka Expo. The total construction cost was 2.5 billion yen from the government, and another 2.5 billion yen invested by various companies in the leisure industry, making a total of 5 billion yen. Considering the prices at that time, it feels incredibly cheap now. By the way, the average monthly salary at that time was about 50,000 yen. The Expo lasted just 6 months. It was meant to be dismantled after the Expo, though an amusement park, it was quite serious. There were attractions like roller coasters, a Ferris wheel, and other rides. To get straight to the point, the amusement park was a huge success. When the Expo opened in March 1970, Expo Land became a popular attraction alongside the American and Soviet pavilions and the Tower of the Sun. About 26 million people, or 40% of 64 million visitors, entered the park. When I looked into this, it was actually pretty amazing. If you do a simple calculation, about 140,000 people entered the park on average each day. Compared to Japan's top amusement parks, Disneyland and USJ, it's even more impressive. Disneyland spans 49 hectares and averages 450,000 daily visitors. USJ covers 54 hectares and has an average of 350,000 visitors per day. Expo Land covers 20 hectares, less than half the size, and averages 140,000 daily visitors. As long as you had a ticket to the Expo, you could also enter Expo Land, and I think some people went there while visiting the Tower of the Sun, so it's a bit unfair, but still, an average of 140,000 visitors per day is amazing. I bet it was crowded, but I wonder if people could actually get on the attractions. The thrill rides like the Z Coaster were the most popular. Today they're essential in amusement parks, but the thrill ride boom began with Expo Land. You could even say that, and it wouldn't be an exaggeration. Also, due to the huge success of Expo Land, large-scale amusement facilities became a must-have at international expos and local expos held all over Japan after that. For example, the 1975 Okinawa Ocean Expo, the 1985 Tsukuba Science Expo, the 1990 Osaka Flower Expo, and the 2005 Aichi Expo. To give a specific example, in 1981, on an artificial island in Kobe, at the Portopia Expo held on Port Island, an amusement park called Portopia Land was built. This amusement park was built to stay after the Expo. I think it was precisely because of the success of Expo Land. Expo Land temporarily closed at the end of the Osaka Expo, then Expo Land Koenren Lenti was established in 1971, and it reopened in 1972. Aware of its public nature, they set prices lower than other amusement parks. They coordinated with other Expo commemorative park facilities and hosted cultural events, including exhibitions of overseas cultural assets. Events were also held. Since reopening, new attractions have been continuously introduced. Among them, 2 attractions introduced in the 1990s became the signature attractions of Expoland. That's Fujin Raijin Furdy and Orochi. Both of them are roller coasters. Fujin Raijin Bikolen ran 6-car trains called Fujin and Raijin, which operated alternately as a pair. Thrill rides like these were popular, and in 1996 attendance hit 2.2 million. Many of the attractions were made by Sanyo Kogyo, and at first the park was operated by the Hankyu Toho Group, but later Sanyo Kogyo became the parent company of Expoland as well. Even after USJ opened in 2001, it stayed one of Kansai's most popular amusement parks. On May 5, 2007, during Golden Week, an accident occurred. I'll explain the accident details and include photos from that time. If you are sensitive to such content, please listen to the audio only or skip the explanation section. On May 5th, while the jet coaster, Fujin Raijin 2's Fujin car was running with 22 passengers, the alloy axle supporting the left wheel of the second car suddenly broke. The car derailed from the track and tilted about 45 degrees to the left, causing one passenger to have their head caught between the car and the iron fence on the left side of the track, resulting in death. The other 21 passengers were injured. In addition, 13 visitors who witnessed the accident from the ground felt unwell and were taken to the hospital. This appears to be the first time a passenger died in a roller coaster accident in Japan. Subsequent investigations revealed that regular inspections were only done visually, and the necessary procedures were not carried out, and that disassembly inspections had been postponed. Regular inspections are sometimes delayed for economic or other reasons. This also caused Reido's accident with Fujin. There was a visible crack in the same place, and it was in a very dangerous condition. Following the accident, emergency inspections at other amusement parks uncovered issues at several facilities. Even if the accident hadn't happened at Expoland, I think there's a possibility that an accident could have happened at another amusement park. Regular inspections are a basic thing, and we do the same things every time. Over time, it likely became routine and people grew careless. No matter what kind of job you do, even if the level of responsibility is different, this really reminds me that you have to value the basics. Due to this accident, the former director and head of facility operations were charged with professional negligence, causing death or injury by the Osaka District Court. They were sentenced to 2 years in prison, a 4-year suspended sentence, and a 400,000 yen. They were also charged with violating the Building Standards Act. Expoland Co., Laliliti, was fined 400,000 yen, and the former technical manager was fined 200,000 yen. In court, the prosecution claimed that regular removal and inspection of the axle could have prevented the accident. They noted the axle had never been replaced since installation and potential damage could be expected. I have various thoughts about the accident response, the verdict, and the prosecution's opinions, but I will keep them to myself. I remember that the news was reported almost every day for several days, starting from May 5th. I was an elementary student then and very scared. At school, everyone talked about this news. 3 months after the accident, they resumed operations and rescued Fujin Raijin Co., but visitor numbers dropped sharply due to the fatal incident. It seems it was less than 20% of the usual number. After reopening, the small Wild Mouse coaster, once the park's main attraction, remained. Orochi, the log flume, and backspin all had a series of troubles and accidents, and Expoland's reputation just kept getting worse. Expo Land faced a critical situation and closed again for rescue on December 10, 2007. It reopened by March 2009. It was planned, but since reopening independently was unexpected, on October 28, 2008, facing about 1.6 billion yen in debt, they filed for civil rehabilitation proceedings. Expo Land waited for a supporting company to be found. They focused on the petting zoo, held various animal performances, installed new go-karts for children, and changed the name of the park. They planned to revive it as a family-type amusement park, but it gained a negative image. They support the amusement park. No companies showed up, and it became difficult to submit a revitalization plan by the deadline. In February 2009, they abandoned debt collection and closed Expo Land. After that, Expo Land Kabin Liltita went bankrupt. The amusement park, operating for nearly 40 years since the Osaka Expo, closed in the worst way. The landowner, the Japan World Exposition Memorial Organization, demanded that the bankrupt party of Expo Land return the land after clearing it. Since August 2009 by the bankruptcy trustee, demolition and removal of various facilities progressed and was mostly finished by March 2010, except for a few areas. The Japan World Exposition Memorial Organization considered land use. Before 2008, there were several reports on how the site would be used. First, there was a plan for a new Gamba Osaka soccer stadium. Their home stadium was then inside Expo 70 commemorative parks. However, the stadium was aging, and there were problems such as the capacity and facilities not meeting the international standards set by Fédération Internationale de Football Association. There were reports that the former Expo Land site was being considered as a possible location. It was also considered as a possible site for a theme park by Paramount Pictures. I don't really watch movies, so I'm not very familiar with them, but things like Transformers and Mission Impossible. It's the company known for works like Mission Impossible and Shrek. At reporting time, the Japan World Exposition Memorial Organization said both plans were undecided. Gamba Osaka's stadium is actually the Expo Memorial. The nearest station is Koen Station. When I first got serious, it was open behind the stairs I climbed. Thank you for watching. The Paramount Pictures theme park was also proposed in a later competition, but it was not adopted. After the competition, part remained until the new building's construction began. Expo Land facilities will be used temporarily. From late March 2010 to May 15, 2011, nearly a year, about 1/5 of the park was used as an agriculture experience park. It operated as Farm Expo. The confectionery farm mainly served as a field classroom, with agricultural activities held twice monthly. We followed a schedule to grow vegetables while receiving guidance from an advisor. At Expo Marsha, a direct agricultural market, a harvest-only experience was offered on part of the field classroom grounds, allowing participation beyond just Farm Expo users. During the Farm Expo era, few people were around, giving it an abandoned amusement park feel, so some saw it as a ruin. It seems like it was a topic of conversation among enthusiasts. Also in the summer of 2011, the pool that was in Expo Land was reopened as the Expo Pool Garden. This pool opened in 2005, just 2 years before the fatal accident, so it was still new. I think they invested a lot in building it, but unfortunately, it had a short life due to the accident. Meanwhile, it's temporarily serving as a Farm Expo. In March 2011, Osaka Prefecture held a competition for redevelopment proposals, ultimately resulting in a complex-type project. Mitsui Fudosan's proposal for an entertainment facility was chosen. And then, in 2015, Expo City opened. Kayukan operates it along with the commercial facility. There's the interactive Museum Nefrel, the indoor activity facility VS Park, the Ferris wheel I mentioned at the beginning, and also a small amusement park-like area. I think this was when interactive facilities began growing nationwide. By the way, among the attractions they are known for being especially strong in building Ferris wheels, they were also the parent company of Expo Land, Senyo Kogyo. Possibly because of the accident, Senyo Kogyo did not build the Expo City Ferris wheel. I guess the image of the accident was just too strong, so they couldn't build it on the same site. Also, if the accident had never happened, would Expo Land still exist today? It's hard to say for sure. Visitor numbers peaked at 2.2 million in 1996 before declining prior to the accident. Previously, visitor numbers stayed near 1 million. Hirkata Park currently has about 1 million visitors, which seems enough to keep it running. But after the accident, the number of visitors dropped to 1/5, and soon after that, they went bankrupt. It seems their financial situation wasn't good to begin with. To make up for the decline in visitors, they kept investing in thrill rides, so I think they were just barely scraping by. Even though thrill rides were the main attraction at the amusement park, having an accident on one of them was fatal. I don't think they could have survived the pandemic either. Also, when I looked into it, there were suspicions of donations to politicians and such. There are all sorts of shady rumors coming up, but I won't touch on them in this video. The plaza across from the South Gate is the former site of the observation tower, called Expo Tower. This was also a landmark during the Expo, but after it ended, it operated as an annex facility of Expo Land. You could take the elevator up to enjoy the view, and it seems it was also used as a base station for mobile phones. It's a cool futuristic design, isn't it? But since it's standing on top of a hill, it's tough to get there and not very popular. Plus, the elevator was exposed without any enclosure, so it seems it was damaged by rainwater. As a result, it was discontinued in 1990 and left abandoned until its demolition in 2003, bringing us to today. I'm not sure if it's part of the Expo Tower or something else, but something was left abandoned there. If anyone knows what it is, I'd appreciate it if you could let me know in the comments. I think this used to be an entrance for Expo Land staff, and the Expo Land sign was still there. I don't think it'll be reused now, but has it just been left here since Expo Land closed? I wonder if this entrance is still used. This is about all that's left from back then. Almost nothing remains. Expo City has some small attractions. It's unclear if the Ferris wheel is truly a remnant. But if Expo Land hadn't been here, this area might not have been developed at all. Expo City stands out from typical shopping centers because as an amusement complex, it also offers entertainment facilities. That's its appeal. You can spend the whole day here. It's one of the most popular spots in Kansai, and in terms of sales, it's among the top 10 commercial facilities in the country. No matter what day or time you go, it's always crowded. Despite the cold wave, many people still came. The negative image from the Expo Land days is gone, but we shouldn't let the memory of the accident fade. I think some people also have fond memories of enjoying Expo Land. Whenever Expo Land is brought up, the focus tends to be on the accident. But as for me, I want to stick to my usual video format. I discussed what type of amusement park Expo Land was. I intentionally structured the video this way. That's it for this video. See you again in the next one.